Seemed like Nicki Minaj done set it up on Jay-Z and Queen B. Cause y'all know they got pressure about that $200 million she say they owe her from that goddamn Tidal scam he had going on.
And it's the first time I've ever seen Nicki, the first time Nicki DM'd me, period. But Nicki was saying, yo, I'm gonna get my guy to f you up. I'm gonna break your jaw.
Nicki Minaj has officially lost her mind, y'all. Word on the street is she was the one behind Beyonce getting robbed, and she did it to get back at her and Jay-Z for ruining her career. Nicki has been going off on everyone and their mama because apparently everyone is after her and she is innocent in all of it. You cannot make this up. She has been steady attacking Jay-Z since last year, and just recently her new victim was SZA. Yup, you heard that right, SZA. And just when we thought things couldn't get any messier, she and her PDF file husband ordered a hit on Bey to get her jumped and robbed. Nicki has the habit of making her husband, Kenneth, pull up on people she doesn't mess with, so this is very on brand for her. Just a while ago, Kenneth was put on house arrest for to unalive Offset, and even before that, Nicki had publicly threatened to get academics attacked by Kenneth and his crew. This entire mess started just a few days ago when Nicki got on X and decided that she was going to revive her beef with Jay-Z and Beyonce. This time, she wasn't only blaming them for her declining career, she accused Jay-Z of scamming her out of their Tidal deal by selling off the company without paying her. She claimed she was supposed to get paid something between $100 to $200 million. Now, mind you, Nicki only had 3% stake in Tidal, and the company was only sold for $300 million, so no one really knows why she thinks her 3% stake would amount to $100 to $200 million. Not only that, but can we also talk about how far apart 100 and 200 million are? She said, we've calculated about 100, 200 million so far. Jay-Z called me to settle this karmic debt. It's only collecting more interest. You still in my top 5 though, let's get it. And anyone still calling him Hav will answer to God for the blasphemy. I'm gonna use some of the money hashtag Jay-Z owes me to send some of my barbs to college, pay their school fees and student loans via my Student of the Game charity. She added, LOL, seeing these men scramble in real time is so satisfying. Y'all can talk about Tidal until you're blue in the face, Chi. Y'all master no Tidal is the least of his worries, stupid. And imagine that being a talking point. Do you know how much of a snake you'd have to be to have someone do all the work, then come out and say, oh, oop, you never signed your paperwork. Lol, this y'all king and y'all rat. So you're saying that a billionaire brother would use a legal loophole to not pay a black woman that upheld her part of the bargain, then her that if she didn't sign a random paper in 24 hours, she'd lose out on a measly $1 million because that's what y'all were offering. I'm so glad I said nope. Scare tactics and manipulation to steal what I worked for. So while I was working for the company, they let me with nothing signed. Like, how stupid can you silly niggas be? LMFAO. Y'all really have no understanding of business, huh? So now you're saying that when we signed our contracts in front of the world, those were fake. Now, while all this was going on, news broke that Beyonce's choreographer's car got broken into on the first night of her tour stop in Atlanta, and the first suspect on everyone's list was Nicki. The choreographer parked the car in the parking lot for just a few minutes, and when he returned, the car had been broken into. They robbers stole multiple things, including unreleased music, set lists, and private files for the show, which were all on a hard drive. They also took laptops, designer clothes, sunglasses, and AirPods. Now, as I said, as crazy as it might sound, people actually started side-eyeing Nicki for this. They claimed that Nicki got her husband's people to pull this petty love because she was pressed about that money Jay-Z owes her.
Let me tell you something. What? Somebody done set the Queen Bee up. Beyonce just got robbed in Atlanta. She put the goddamn word bankhead instead of goddamn buckhead in her GPS. And it sent her to the goddamn projects. And them goddamn water boys left her sitting on bricks. Here's how the went down. Beyonce tour stopped in Atlanta for the 3rd sold out date. Everything was going well. Jay-Z even performed Crazy in Love with Queen Bee on stage last night. Then when they left the show, somebody had to be following them, find out where they stay at, where they going, and whoop-de-whoop-whoop-whoop, because one of her choreographers went to a Waffle House, and they got robbed. Seemed like Nicki Minaj done set it up on Jay-Z and Queen B. Cause y'all know they got pressure about that $200 million she say they owe her from that goddamn Tidal scam he had going on. Now right now the police scrambling, trying to trace the stolen AirPod Max that the goddamn suspect stole, and they looking for the goddamn laptop and the unreleased music, but the damage might just be done. Now with the Cowboy Carter tour lighting up Atlanta for its final show tonight, Beyonce's team is on high alert. Behind the glitter and the spotlights, a shadow looms. Who targeted Beyonce?
In fact, initially, Nicki was making it look like she didn't have a problem with Bey and that her problem was only with Jay, but she later went on her station head and seemingly admitted to not liking Beyonce either. So basically, while she was playing her song with Beyonce called Feeling Myself, she was telling her fans that just because she plays a song that she collaborated on with an artist in the past doesn't mean she actually likes the said artist.
Like music, it doesn't mean that I rock with the person or whatever. Like, I really want y'all to notice. I hate to have to say this. What we doing? Like, are we rocking with, or we ain't rocking with and that's why I love them. That's why I love y'all. But, so I just wanted to make that disclaimer. So everybody know from now till whenever, okay? Just because I play a song that I happen to be featured on, don't mean see him and kick them right in the throat.
Now, as I said, the reason why people believe this was because this wasn't going to be the first time that Nicki would make her husband do something like this. Back in 2023, her husband Kenneth got into trouble when Kenneth decided to make a corny video of him and his friend calling Offset to come outside to fight him, and Ken even went as far as to unalive Offset while Nicki was busy being a host for the VMAs.
That's it. I just spend that. Go Kanye. Know it's shop, man. Know it's shop, yeah. We outside. Big two outside. Big Queens, right?
Money, man. What's up?
Yeah.
Shot, man.
Yeah.
Huh?
You don't know. They said you don't know.
Plan that vacation.
Yeah.
Planning your funeral.
Yeah.
All the way to the street. Let's play. What's up?
We'll meet you there.
Mind you, Ken was still on probation around this time, so he got into trouble with his parole officer and got sentenced to 120 days house arrest. Prior to this, she had also gotten dragged for sliding into Academic's DMs and to have him whopped by her husband and his gang because he made some comments about her past relationship with Meek Mill that she didn't like. She sent him this message that said, "The people you rep won't stop your job from being broke. I know too much about your family for you to be playing with me, you HOE tail rat. Where you at now? Send your number. My husband wants to talk to you. If I were you, I'd send my number because you're gonna make it worse." Apart from her trying to get him attacked, Academics also claimed that Nicki was calling around industry people to figure out where Academics worked so she could get him fired, but she later found out that he was an independent YouTuber just making waves by himself, and this pissed her off even more because now she knew she couldn't just silence him by getting him fired.
The most direct our communications got after that was when she was going through the breakup with Meek Mill. And I said, and by the way, me and Meek weren't like the best of friends. Like, it was, Meek didn't really like me either. But just giving honest social commentary, I said, well, Meek Mill is going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine because that relationship may have not even really contributed to what his core really wants from him. And that comment alone, I remember someone called me from the industry and they said, "What did you do?" And I said, "Well, what are you talking about? What I do? What do you mean what I do?" They said, "Nicki's calling around asking where you work, who you work for." I said, "Why?" They say did you do some about her and Meek? I said, "Yeah, but I was respectful in it. I was just speaking the truth." Apparently she didn't like what I said complimenting Meek. Now, from my understanding, she was calling around to leverage, because I guess at this point she's a little bit, okay, who's speaking like this, whatever. She was calling around like, yo, where does ACT work and how could I silence? Now it's just on YouTube. Didn't have any employers. And I was like, oh, Nicki's trying to silence me. And like most things I've taken since then, I don't just be quiet about it. I'm like, great, you just gave me the ammo to go on the attack. I'm going to make this a thing now. I'm going to let everyone know. And I let people know, and everyone said I was lying, like usual. But the relevant industry people who called me was like, yo. And I remember saying to them, I said, why did Nicki call you? Why does Nicki like just ask you for my number? Why does Nicki just get on the phone with me? It's like, she doesn't want to talk to you. But she wanted to know where you work.
And let's not forget he got sued for $20 million by her husband's alleged SA victim, Jennifer Hugh, because he sent his goons to go after her for refusing to recant her statement about him SAing her. Nicki has a habit of pulling these gangster tactics when she has a problem with someone, so it's not surprising that people are accusing her of having a hand in the robbery of Beyonce's stuff. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, people had their thoughts, like this person who said, Nicki ain't playing no games. Another person said, why her team is stupid, broke the rules when transporting equipment. One person always stays or brings the equipment back to the hotel to secure the equipment. What were they thinking? But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of Nicki getting accused of being behind the robbery? And do y'all think she did this because of that $100 million? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.